Hello, and welcome back to the Queen Rising podcast. Here on this podcast, we talk about energy, confidence, and alignment. I am Misty. I'm your host, and I blend wellness, astrology, and feminine embodiment to come back into who you are. I was debating on whether I wanted to bring you into this journey of what I'm personally going through. However, one, it's always been part of my process to bring my audience into the journey and share my not only my highlight reel but also my struggles, because I think it's a powerful place when, especially as women, to get vulnerable and have places of connection and places of I see you and I've been where you are. And so many of my best clients have come to me from me sharing the real, me sharing my struggle and what I'm working through and how I'm moving through it. And I've had so many women message me privately, even women who were never clients, and they shared with me just following me online helped them to also move through their own struggles, and just learning about my struggles and seeing me and seeing how I move through it gave them the confidence to move through their own. And I'm also looking at this as a way of this is going to be one of those episodes where I probably look back on and so grateful I shared in the journey of where I started. So I lost my job. Part of my day job, I do bookkeeping, tax prep. I went to school for accounting. I went back into the workforce 3 years ago, about 3.5 years ago. And I have been working for the same guy for the past 3 or so years. Now, I did leave back last year, last October. I left and I went and got a full-time job because I was just working part-time for him, but he left the door wide open for me. And he was like, if you ever want to come back, if things don't work out, you can come back. He said, even if you want to work on the weekends, you can do tax prep, tax returns when you're not working there, you can work here. And the door was just wide open. So I reconnected with him a couple months later, and he expressed an opportunity to me. And long story short, he sold the firm and new CPA had one. So I was granted a raise. I was granted to be able to work from home, hybrid work opportunity. I was offered a sign-on retention bonus. It all sounded great. However, in April, after the regular tax season ended, after April 15th tax deadline, I started to get a feeling. So I've shared a little bit about this, about how I noticed my energy was like I was drained. I was just physically drained. And so I had to pull back my energy and reevaluating how I was operating in my day-to-day life so I could recalibrate my energy. But also, the other thing I haven't really talked about is my intuition was screaming at me that this could be the riskiest decision as a single mom of 3 kids. The riskiest move I could make was depending solely on one stream of income, depending solely on a job to make money, because I was already seeing some red flags. Red flags like her not wanting to pay me my bonus, her missing paychecks, her not cutting my hours, only paying me half as many hours as what I actually worked. So I started seeing all these red flags in the summertime. And so this is when I decided I was going to divert my attention. I still worked, but I pulled some of my hours and I started working on my own thing. I started building out the YouTube channel. I started rebuilding the podcast. I started really sitting with myself, okay, if I could do anything, what do I want to do? What do I want to be known for? How do I want to get paid? What do I want my life to look like? Everything came true. Everything I was feeling like it was such a risky move to put all my eggs in her basket. So October 15th came. So if you're not familiar, most people are not familiar with the tax laws. So most people, yes, we have a tax deadline of April 15th. However, you can file an extension if you do not have your personal documents and your finances in order to file your taxes on April 15th. You can file a 6-month extension, and then you have until October 15th to get. So October 15th came, and basically the job ended, and she's still debating on, she's trying to not pay me my bonus. I seen red flags like in September where she didn't pay me. I didn't get my direct deposit on payday. Like, I felt like she was trying to get me to quit so that she didn't have to pay me my bonus, because my bonus was contingent on me. I got half of the bonus if I worked through April 15th, and then I got half of the bonus if I worked through October 15th. I did get half of the bonus in April, but I had to ask for it. And then the October 15th, she is trying not to pay me. So as of October 15th, I haven't been working. I'm not going to lie, even though I saw this coming, even though there were so many signs and I was already starting to build something else, even though it still shook me on October 15th when she started questioning, not wanting to pay my bonus. And then she started questioning my hours. She started auditing my time, which in 9-10 months of working there, she's never done before. It really pissed me off, to be honest. But after a few days, after a week of really getting my head wrapped around this, I'm seeing things differently. And I want to share with you on how I'm seeing things differently. And this may help you reframe whatever you may be going through. First, I want to acknowledge that having a loss, whether it be a job or a relationship, you lose your house, whatever kind of setback you're going through, like, it's okay to have a human reaction of allowing doubt and anxiety set in. And I've had all of that. But one really interesting thing happened. So the past few weeks, I've been accepting. So the past couple weeks before this all happened, I have been going out and getting contract work because I've seen this coming and I wanted additional income. So I started accepting contract work. It was just like startup businesses that maybe they couldn't hire a full-time bookkeeper, but they needed someone maybe a couple hours a month or a couple hours a week. And so I had a bookkeeping job. I also had a tax prep job, and they all ended on October 15th. They all ended on the same day. So I was like, okay, I am not new to signs and synchronicities. And I'm understanding, like, I'm viewing this as like a divine redirection. Like, it's no coincidence that I had 3 different jobs lined up and they all ended on the same day. So, like, sometimes takes things out of our path that shouldn't be there. And a lot of times they shouldn't be there, but you haven't taken the leap. And so I'm not seeing this as punishment or anything like that. I'm just seeing it as preparation and redirection. I'm using it as a sacred reset. And so I think whenever we're in a really hard place like this, you have 2 options. You could sit here in victim mode and in disbelief, escapism, not facing reality. Or you could choose to move anyway, accepting like this is the reality, and also how are we going to move through it? What's our next step? What's the plan? I've always believed things happen for a reason. And part of what I teach here is embodying your feminine energy. And part of the feminine is surrender. It is not control and forcing things, it's allowing. It's okay, I see this is happening and none of it is in my control. So it's about taking a step back, but also seeking divine guidance of, okay, what do you want me to do now? What's next? And so back in August, I let go of a duplex that I was paying extremely high rent with. And knowing what was coming down the line with my job, I just didn't have the finances to keep paying the high rent. And I let it go. And at first, it was really difficult. And I was making it mean something about me. And I had to come into a place, and I would have these periods of depression and anxiety and crying about it. And then I would shift into, oh, I wonder what's next. If this is what is happening, like God is making me let go of this duplex, I wonder where we're going next. And so I want you to start to learn how to reframe the hard things that you're going through and seeing it as divine alignment. And I really had to start to get clear that no matter what is stripped away from me, it doesn't reflect on who I am as a person. I can lose my house, I can lose my car, I can lose my job, but it doesn't deflect on who I am, my own purpose, my own vision of where I'm going. And sometimes things have to be stripped away down to the bare bones so it can be built better. So here's what we're doing. Here's what I'm doing. And I hope this inspires you. One, I'm focused on how I feel every day, prioritizing my health. That's always been number one for me. Whenever I go through a setback or I want to realign, I want to move forward, go to the next level, I always come back to my health of what does this next level require of me? What kind of habits do I need to have in place? Now, years ago, I think I've shared about this a little bit. Back in 2012, I lost my job. I went to my boss. I had a special needs child, and I went to my boss asking for a 4-day work week. And I got laid off. And I spent weeks in depression, anxiety, escapism, victim mode of I don't know what to do. I don't have any money. And I can remember months going by without opening up my bank account. I knew my bank account was in the negative. However, I knew I didn't have any income coming in. I felt so helpless in the moment. And I remember when I finally did have the courage to open up my bank statement or open up my online bank account, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. I spent months agonizing over how I was going to get my bank balance back in the black. However, it wasn't even that bad. It was like, I don't know, $150 in the negative or something. It was like, oh, I could work like one paycheck. One week of pay could easily get that back to where it should be. So a lot of times we make things out to be way worse than what they could be. And if you're willing to face it, if you're willing to say, okay, what is the worst case scenario and how can I move forward? So I'm focusing on financial stability right now. I'm focusing on looking back at, okay, what are other times in my life when I've really had a dark period and what did I do to get out of it? What are ways that I've made money before that I've been able to be basically come back from rock bottom? And also coming into what's true for me, seeing this as a way of it's a clean slate. I have open my time and my energy and my schedule is wide open. How do I want it to look like? What do I want to fill that space up with? So I know I want to spend more time here podcasting, coaching, teaching. I want to teach more and more people about their astrological blueprint, their natal birth chart, their purpose, how to live in alignment, how to tap into their feminine flow. Because the past couple of months have really embodied my feminine, especially since started my divorce in October 2020. However, I didn't move until 2024. Trying to balance out my masculine and feminine energies where I'm no longer in survival mode. I'm no longer in hustle mode. I'm like trusting the divine. I'm trusting my intuition. And I want more women to feel this way because the past few months, I've never felt more feminine than I do now. I've never felt more in flow. It's a totally different experience. So I want you to understand that even if in everything, it doesn't take away from you still have your own, you still have your purpose, and every ending is an invitation to evolve. It's an up level. It's okay. The universe is stripping back everything that is not aligned, and be grateful for that. Be grateful that those people, situations, places, relationships can't go with you to this next era, this next level. But it's making space for the people, the jobs, the situations, the income streams that are coming with you to your next level, or they will be invited in. Confidence is built in your comeback. Confidence isn't a body size, or it isn't, how you look in the mirror or what other people think about you. It's what you think about you. Your confidence is built in action. Confidence is built from you saying, wait a minute, I know who I am, and I know I'm better than this, and I got this. I will move through this, and I will figure it out. How am I moving through this? Again, I'm looking at my schedule. What do I want in there? I'm resetting my energy and my habits. I'm really focusing on my health. I'm utilizing everything I teach in the Rise and Shine course about manifesting your best life, manifesting your next level, manifesting the woman you are becoming. And I'm utilizing my natal birth. There's so much detail in your natal birth chart. I can recognize where I used to be in like poverty minded, poverty consciousness, and how I'm moving into understanding my own value, understanding where I can be of service and how I can contribute. An affirmation you can use if you're struggling through something similar. I'm trust that I'm being guided even when I can't see the full path. And so you're going to see a lot more from me now. You're going to see me put out free trainings. I can do challenges. Oh, and I am documenting all of this on Instagram on the daily. So if you want to come over, my personal Instagram is at the Misty Anderson, and the podcast is at the Queen Rising Pod. And so if you want day-to-day interactions with me, updates, and you want to see what I'm doing in my day-to-day, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of rebuilding my life. And that is where you can get all the behind the scenes. And the next podcast episode, also make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube or the podcast, because the next time I come back, we're going to talk about the full moon in Taurus, which is opposite of the Scorpio sun. And I can't wait to get into that chart and all of the juiciness that is happening for the rest of the year.